What is up, guys? A very good morning and welcome back to another YouTube video. So today from Dubai instead of Abu Dhabi. But with that said, let's dive in. Looking at the dollar index for the day ahead, what can we see? Well, yesterday we saw that push up in towards the highs. Pretty much neglected this area of supply over here. Of course, it wasn't really that significant. Just pushed price in towards this area of demand, which took out this high. Which is of course a far more significant area of demand because it took out a structural high, which took out this low. This area of supply didn't achieve anything except for just pushing price in towards this area of demand and breaking this internal low. So overall, price reacted to this area of demand in line with the overall market structure, pushed up in towards the highs because we didn't really see any bearish intentions from here. We kind of saw that quick tap out again, but now price has pushed back up in towards this area of supply. So at the moment, what I'm looking at is we've seen a fake out on this high. Now price have more potential to start pushing down from here. After that fake out, because if we do kind of see that aggressive 4-hour close, then I will be looking for further downside, especially if it's kind of like a big engulfing candle closing below this low over here at around 102.894. Overall, on the daily time frame, I am still keeping an eye out for this area of demand. I am kind of looking, okay, if the dollar index does move up higher, for example, this refined area of supply or this refined area of supply could still kind of like pose a threat to push the dollar index down further in towards the downside. However, like if you look at these areas of supply, what have they actually achieved? All they've pretty much done is just break these areas of demand, which were demand zones, which broke these kind of like internal highs. When you have these demand zones which break these internal highs, they're not really that significant, right? Overall, if we look at price, this, for example, is a significant area of demand. Why is that? Because from here, you pretty much have the entire upward movement, which ultimately took out this structural high, which again broke this low. So as you can see, we reverse back steeply in towards the highs from this area of demand, and all of these kind of like supply zones or demand zones over here, for example, which haven't really achieved anything except for breaking these internal highs, are just merely interaction points for the market. So yeah, that's pretty much the dollar index. I'm not really looking to engage too much with the dollar index or base too many trades off it, as we're just pretty much a little bit messy at the moment. But I'm just keeping in mind, okay, we've seen a fake out on this high. If we kind of break this low over here, we could, and see that kind of like 4-hour strong close, we could kind of see that further downside movements. So yeah, that's that. Aussie dollar. Looking at Aussie dollar, if it loads. Yeah, so Aussie dollar, of course, saw that reaction from this area of demand, which I pointed out. However, moved down lower, kind of like in towards this last imbalance candle over here on the 4-hour, which still lies inside that daily area of demand. So we've seen a 4-hour breaker structure right on this low over here. And I'm now looking to see a pullback, because after breaker structure, we expect a pullback. We're inside daily area of demand. You can kind of like exchange that previous area of 4-hour demand for this last imbalance candle. See that kind of like as the initiation for a pullback back up in towards, for example, this bullish candle, which gets engulfed. So there's supply inside of there. So looking to trade the pullback up in towards the highs on Aussie dollar. If you look at the 15-minute, price kind of came back down in towards lows, push, pullback, push, pullback, push down, grab liquidity underneath the lows, and now can kind of like potentially continue its way back up in towards these higher levels where 4-hour supply is also located. So just keep that in mind on Aussie dollar. You can start looking for those potential longs if the 15-minute aligns for you. Higher probability trades will of course always be once we break this 4-hour structural high located over here, and then get that pullback in towards demand, which broke this high, and then trade those pro 50-minute trades, trend trades in towards the highs once again, because the daily is of course internally bullish, and the 4-hour will then also be in alignment with the overall daily structure. So that's Aussie dollar. Now euro dollar. So euro dollar saw a push down, pretty much just from the overall order flow, of course. This entire buy before the sell kind of like push price down. Overall, what I'm looking for, nothing really too interesting. You kind of don't really have like clean demand which can push the price back up. Just keep in mind, of course, that structure is of course now bearish, so you could look for those potential sells if you, for example, pull back in towards this 4-hour area of supply, which took out this area of 4-hour demand. This 4-hour area of demand took out this 4-hour area of supply, like this. So price pushes up, takes out supply, which took out this demand, then price is pushed down from this supply, which took out this demand. So now you could look for a potential sell if the 15-minute aligns for you. So that is a high probability trade overall. The only factor is that the daily is of course not in alignment, and preferably I would still see euro dollar push up higher, and I would not be surprised if it does so. However, if the 4-hour and the 15-minute align, then you can look for those potential sells. Pound dollar. So pound dollar finally crashed down lower, pretty much as expected. All the demand inside of that daily area got taken out. So at the moment, where has price pushed into? In towards this area of demand, kind of like saw that reaction. However, we have now closed below daily demand and 4-hour demand. So overall, the 4-hour is now bearish, with this being a break of structure. So what do we expect after break of structure? We expect a pullback, right? Especially from this area of 4-hour demand. So now what we can look for is that pullback back up in towards the highs, ultimately being over here. So looking at, and just keep in mind, the structural high is now here, all the way down in towards this low. So price could also just push up in towards, let's say, this wick, where there is also going to be some supply. Looking at the 15-minute, look for the 15-minute to flip. There is not really much structure to it, to be honest. It would have been better if this, for example, was like a pullback and then a push, because then, for example, this high could have been kind of like the break of structure, and then you could have had like a very high probability long. This was also kind of like a nice long to take potentially, but not really kind of like in my book. So what I would look for is potentially now break for this high. If that high gets broken, look for a pullback in towards demand, and then look for a long back up towards this supply, before then looking for those potential shorts once again. So yeah, that is pound dollar. Now Kiwi dollar, of course, fantastic price action. Moved back down in towards that demand zone on the daily time frame, which I was looking for. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Had it drawn out yesterday. Now in demand, and as we can see, we are reacting to it. So these demand zones, which not have really achieved anything except for pushing price back up in towards supply, are just merely reaction points. So at the moment, anticipating on the fact that we're going to come back up in towards this buy before the big sell-off. So overall, you can view this as one big supply zone. Of course, this being over here, your refined supply. So preferably you want to kind of like look to trade back up there and then take another short back down in towards weekly supply, weekly demand located over here, or excuse me, daily demand located over here. So yeah, that is Kiwi dollar. Quickly showing you guys 15-minute. You can look to see. So this is potentially your pullback, push down, pullback, push down. Of like one more liquidation before again a push down. So kind of wait for the structural high to go, and then look to trade, for example, back up in towards those premium levels before shorting once again. Sorry for the messy chart, by the way. So that's Kiwi dollar. Then last of all, gold, because gold has been moving down in towards our area of demand. Just missed it, I guess, by merely a few pips. So at the moment, just waiting for gold to hit this area of demand, to then look for those lower time frame potential buys once again. So that's that. Yeah, last of all, those dollar yen, still looking for further upside from dollar yen, back up in towards this supply zone. From here, I will be looking for a potential short. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. That was it for today. Sorry, I'm here on the couch straight from the gym. But yeah, wish you all a fantastic day, and we will speak very, very soon. If you have any questions, make sure to join the free Discord. Thanks, guys.